Well, the story's still told when the weather turns cold in the shipyards around San Francisco. There was fog in the bay when they got underway to unrep with the U.S.S. Kiska. At 0600 when reveille came, they rose and awoke all the sleepers, and while some of our shipmates heaved out and triced up, Phil Schneider ran up to sign sweepers. And at 6:49, secure the mess line came over the ship's 1MC, and 5 levels below, standing watch in the hull, were Kennedy, Musso, and me. And the chief of the watch, he looked over the space, saw the wind box and fuel pressure steady, so he gave the command to the men of the watch. Light the torch and light fires when ready. So the torch was lit, and the plant was split, and the steam formed at the top. Aye, the watch was mine when we came on the line and we opened the main steam stop. And the crew manned the rail, sea and anchor detail was piped down by the mate of the bosun, and the BTOW was BT2 Shaw, and on throttles was MM3 Olsen. Then the lines were cast, underway at last as we steamed through the bay in the fog, and we answered all bells as the AOLs were entered in the EOS log. And at 8:48 we passed the Golden Gate, headed west toward the Farallon Islands. The chief of the watch was BTC Simmons, the DCA Lieutenant Byland. Then we met heavy fog, if I remember the log, about 3 hours outside San Francisco. There was mist, there was haze, with no breeze that could raise or give us a sign of the Kiska. Then we heard the first shot from the starboard lookout. Then the forward lookout joined the chorus. With a strong starboard list, she came out of the mist, and the Kiska was headed straight for us. And to avoid any harm, the collision alarm came over the ship's 1MC. There was hardly no talk as we all braced for shock, Kennedy, Musso, and me. And Captain Felty did shout, "Bring her about! Right full rudder! Don't hit the oiler!" The ship took a swell and the drum levels fell. "We lost fires! Number 1 boiler!" A pipe split its seam, spilled hot water and steam, and the main space got hotter and hotter. The good ship was tossed. All fuel pressure was lost. "Chief Simmons, we're dead in the water!" And the chief of the watch, he looked over the space. "How's the wind box? The fuel pressure? Steady!" So he gave the command to the men of the watch. "Light the torch and light fires when ready." So the torch was lit, and the plant was split, and the steam formed at the top. Aye, the watch was mine when we came on the line, and we opened the main steam stop. And the crew manned the rail, sea and anchor detail came over the ship's 1MC. The BTOW and Burnham watch were Kennedy, Musso, and me. When we reached port at last, they piped captain's mast, and we awaited the law of the sea. Dressed up in our blues, white hats, polished shoes were Kennedy, Musso, and me. As Chief Simmons stood by, Kennedy, Musso, and I, with Captain Felty at ship's NJP. We were 3 happy snipes, 'cause we all kept our stripes, Kennedy, Musso, and me. Aye, a story still told when the weather turns cold in the shipyards around San Francisco. There was fog in the bay when we got underway to unrep with the U.S.S. Kiska.